Hey guys, we're coming back at you with another podcast. This is the baseball podcast, and it sucks.
I really wish you didn't do that. But if anybody was listening, it's now turned off.
It's what's turned off?
They've turned it off because
They turned off the podcast.
because of the way you started.
Probably
They made it 20 seconds, so
20 seconds.
probably less.
Well, you know, the average TikTok is only about 8 seconds, so or something like that. I heard something like that once.
This is a podcast, so you can't make up facts.
I think that's all podcasts are. I think podcasts are literally just making up facts all the time.
Is it another word for making up a fact? An opinion? Or would you disagree?
No.
I don't even agree with that. All right, that's enough. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. We're gonna keep the banter light today. Maybe we'll see. We'll see if the banter remains light. We got 3 things that we want to tackle here today. We have 3 lists that we want to make. Well, 2 lists and 1 draft. List number 1, pitchers to start a franchise with. List number 2, the top 5 most cursed franchises in Major League Baseball currently. And then we're going to debate a completely unrelated topic, best states to live in. We each get 5 draft picks. We go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do it.
where we're at. So for our pitchers to start a franchise with, okay, you know what? We have to have a little bit of just like, how are
Explaining.
you? Or I just want to know
okay.
about your week.
My week has been fine.
Tell me one thing.
Rosebud
Tell
thorn.
me one thing that's made you happy this week, one thing that's made you sad this week, and one thing that you're excited about next week.
All right. Next week is
No, you have to go in order.
Okay. One thing. What was it? One thing that was
One
good.
thing that made you happy this week, one thing that made you sad this week, and one thing that you're excited about next week.
One thing that made me happy this week. Can't think of any. No. I feel like it's been a good week. I can't think of specifically. I don't know. It was nice to prepare these lists. I like looking at statistics.
Prepping for this podcast is the one thing you chose that made you happy this week.
Well, it's not. Maybe. I don't know. You put me on the spot. One thing that made me happy this week, I made a really nice dinner last night. I made a chicken cheesesteak. It was good.
It looked pretty good.
I got that cheesesteak taste, but without the cheesesteak pain that came 2 hours later because it was chicken. I didn't cook it in too much oil. It tasted good, and it didn't make my stomach hurt. That was definitely the highlight of the week. It
That's
went
a win
down
for you
smooth.
as far as meals go.
Exactly. Everything makes my stomach hurt. So an actually good, nice tasting meal didn't make my stomach hurt, and I made it. Very nice. That was the highlight of my week.
Okay, what's
The
made you sad?
worst, without a doubt, this one, it took me a while to come up with the happiest moment of my week. Without a doubt, the worst moment of my week was the way you introduced this podcast. That voice you had, I hated every second of it.
Good. I was gonna say Domingo Germán's perfect game was the best part of my week, but now you being so upset by the way I introduced this podcast, I think has overtaken that as my.
I thought we were going in
happiest moment
order.
of the week.
I haven't even said what I'm excited
I never
for.
said I could interject. I make the rules here. This is a dictatorship.
I disagree. I could overthrow you. I could easily overthrow you. All right.
Okay.
I am excited for next week. It is almost my birthday, and it's July 4th. So fireworks. I like fireworks.
Yeah.
All right, now you may go because we're
You
going.
just like kill. You just like wrecking the environment. You like increasing your carbon footprint. You like greenhouse gases.
All right, just go.
You like chest thumping patriotism.
No, I actually don't. But I like fireworks, and I like hot dogs. I hate the connotations.
Do you like calling them glizzies?
I do. And
Okay.
all
That
right,
surprises me actually.
go.
Okay. I will refrain from saying me making you upset was the happiest moment of my week.
You already said it.
Domingo Germán's perfect game was the highlight of my week. Seeing a perfect game is just unbelievable. I can't believe that I witnessed that. And for whatever reason, I have this weird sixth sense when it comes to no hitters and games like this. I can't say perfect games because it hasn't happened in over a decade. But 2 years ago, when Corey Kluber threw a no hitter for the Yankees, I'm good at watching Yankees games when they throw no hitters and perfect games apparently. But I sat down at the couch on my parents' house and I'm going to watch every single pitch of this game. And that's rare for me because I'm a very busy man. I'm a very busy man with lots of responsibilities and lots of people who want my time and attention. So I don't always get to watch all 9 innings of a baseball game, but I did it for Corey Kluber's no-hitter, and I did it again for Domingo Germán's perfect game. I sat down on my couch with a quick break to take my frozen pizza out of the oven, and I watched that entire perfect game. And man, if I ever forget that game, that'll be a sad day. That was unbelievable. He Maddoxed it too. 99 pitches.
Wildly impressive, but you know what people are saying?
People are saying a lot of things.
They're calling it a Mickey Mouse perfect game.
A Mickey Mouse perfect game.
Because it came against the Oakland A's.
Well, if it was so easy,
essentially,
why has nobody else done it all year?
It's only been like 15. No, that doesn't make any sense.
There have been a lot of really bad teams in history that play every day of every baseball season, and they've not been perfectoed. Sticky
stuff and against the Oakland A's. It couldn't have happened to a worse guy.
That I will agree with you.
Maybe Curt Schilling.
Yeah. However, he still did it.
I will say I hate the Yankees. As far as a
baseball accomplishment goes, you have to appreciate it for what it is.
I hate the Yankees. I hate domestic abuse. I was happy watching the perfect game last night.
Did you just list the Yankees ahead of domestic abuse on things that you hate?
It was in no particular order.
That's not how I'm going to clip it.
Okay. Clip it however you want. You're a dictator. All right. People don't care about our weeks.
Okay.
People care about starting pitchers.
I need to at least finish my happy and sad. That was my happy. My sad.
What?
My sad. Let's see. What made me sad?
And you don't even have it? You can't be that passionate about finishing it and you didn't have it ready to go.
I'll think of it later. I'm excited. I have friends visiting this weekend.
Okay. That's nice. Let's end on a happy note. That's nice. But
pitchers to start a franchise with. Go ahead, take it away. Tell the people what our rules were here.
All right, so we are essentially saying it is not the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. It is pitchers to start a franchise with. You are taking everything into account. You are taking contract length, how young a guy is, age, exactly.
Age is a big one.
Age is a huge one. You're taking money, salary, and we're pretending, we're an average salary, we're an average market team, whatever. We're taking, for Ohtani, for example, we're taking into the fact that he's batting too, the wear and tear. We're taking everything. These are starting pitchers we would start a franchise with tomorrow. There are so many good young starting pitchers in baseball. There are so many good old starting pitchers there. This was an incredibly difficult list for, I think, both of us to make, and I'm very intrigued. We have not told each other our list.
Mine was actually really easy because I know a lot about baseball.
Okay, so. Well, I'll say this. There were about 15 guys I considered putting on this list, but I only put 5, and I'm starting with my number 5.
We're going 5-1?
5-1.
Okay, fine.
5-1. That builds suspense.
I disagreed, but okay, we'll go 5-1.
Build suspense. Okay. Number 5. I think this is a little bit of a hot take. I think this is the only one that might be a little bit of a hot take. It is Max Fried.
I mean, okay, it's not hot because he's very talented. I didn't include Fried on my list because of the injury.
And okay, that
he's made of glass.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's had an injury. He's had an injury. He's been injured a lot this year, but I wouldn't say he's really a guy that before this year I would consider injury prone. And the reason I had Max Fried on this list, everybody else on this list that I have is under team control for a long time, is not making a lot of money. Max Fried hit free agency in 2024. He's making a good amount of money. He's 24 million.
He's
28, 29. The reason I have Max Fried on this list, there is not a guy, if it was Game 7 and everybody's healthy and it's Game 7 of the World Series tomorrow, I think I want Max Fried taking the ball over any pitcher in the league.
Hello?
Any pitcher in the league. Because he is proven this before. He's proven it in the playoffs. Last 4 years in a row he's been in.
You're putting Max Fried on the same level as peak playoff Bumgarner.
Bumgarner is out of the league. I'm talking about
No. I know, but you're.
I'm saying I know. I'm not
comparable.
I'm not putting him on the same level as 2014 Bumgarner. I'm putting him above any pitcher, one game starting tomorrow. I mean, he's as good when he was healthy. He's as good as any pitcher in the league. He's 28.
In that situation, I'd personally take a guy who does have those years under him You know, Max Fried is no rookie at this point.
He's
but
pitched in the World Series.
He's pitched in the World Series.
He's pitched in plenty of playoff games.
Yeah, no, he has. I personally, in that situation, I want a strikeout pitcher.
I mean, it's not like he's not a strikeout pitcher.
But he's not the strikeout pitcher.
In that situation, I want a guy who's not going to give up home runs. 1 game sample size. I don't want somebody to give up a home run and my season is over. In the last 4 years, he's been top 10 in the league in average exit velocity. 3 of the last 4 years, he's been top 10 in the league in hard hit percentage. To me, he's the perfect pitcher because he strikes guys. It's nothing. He doesn't do anything perfect, but he strikes guys out. He doesn't walk guys. He doesn't give up home runs. He goes long into games. Before this year, he's shown he can stay healthy. Max Fried is my number 5. Who is your number 5?
My number 5 is actually the Twins' Joe Ryan. I like Joe Ryan a lot. He's had his ups and downs this year. He's had a few clunkers that have caused his ERA to spike and his line to not be quite as good as he clearly is if you're watching him pitch every week. And he's on my fantasy team, so I've been watching him extra close. He had a CG Shuddy last week. Pitched spectacularly, got me 51 points. I mean, it's no 94 Domingo Germán, what he got for nobody because he was not rostered yesterday. However, 27 years old, still pre-arbitration eligible, under team control for a very long time if you want to keep him there. I think he's got the talent. He's a dynamic pitcher. He can strike guys out. He's a good contact pitcher. He keeps the ball in the park usually. I really like Joe Ryan. Boring name, not boring guy. Very cool, rocking a fun stash. I'm a Joe Ryan fan. He's my number 5.
I disagree with that a little bit. Just because he hasn't proven it. Like, this is the first year we've really seen Joe Ryan.
You could tell that he was going to be good the way he pitched last year.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's the one trade. That's the one trade the Rays messed up on. You know, they traded Joe Ryan away for half a year, 40-year-old Nelson Cruz. Horrible trade. Rays are doing just fine. But for me, Joe Ryan hasn't shown it enough, but if you told me in 5 years he's a top 5 pitcher in the league, I wouldn't be surprised at all. He's been incredible. So I can't get too mad at that pick.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go number 4.
For number 4.
I already saw your list, so we have the same guy.
Okay, we have the same guy.
Yes.
Don't look at my list.
Okay.
We have the same guy.
Your chicken
Let's say it on 3.
is almost so
all right.
bad. I was surprised I could.
1, 2, 3. Logan
Webb.
Logan Webb. All right.
Did you skip? Oh crap! I took your number 2. No, now I've spoiled it because I'm going to say my number 4 and it's going to be your number 2.
That isn't my number 2.
No,
if
I know.
He starts with a David.
No, not it. I was just saying David.
Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Yuri Perez.
Okay, well,
20 years old.
You go first.
Okay, well, for the exact reason that you just said Joe Ryan didn't make your list, that's why I didn't put Yuri Perez higher on mine.
Well, Yuri Perez was the best prospect, like the best pitching prospect in baseball. Joe Ryan was a guy who wasn't really viewed that highly until this year.
I don't care how highly you're viewed. Spencer Strider was a 4th-round pick. I guarantee you he's on both of our lists.
So was Logan Webb.
Case in point. Yuri Perez, 20 years old. He's younger than both of us. That's crazy. The kid probably still has baby teeth. Did you have baby teeth when you were 20? Because I did.
I didn't.
No, I'm kidding. I didn't. But Yuri Perez, I mean, he's filthy. What more can you say? Everybody's like, oh, next start he's going to get shelled. It's going to come out. It's going to happen eventually. It hasn't. You know, even like Bobby Miller, you know, he was pitching great, but he's gotten shelled a few times. Bryce Miller, I guess maybe just being named Miller has something to do with it.
B. Miller.
But Yuri Perez, no, he's been an ace, like nothing shy of an ace so far since getting called up. I mean, he came up absolutely no learning curve, no period of adjustment. He's 20 years old, obviously on his rookie contract. I don't see how he couldn't be in your top 5 the way he's pitches here. Yeah,
well, Matthew kind of spoiled it. I have him a lot higher. I'll leave my dialogue to later. I'll just say this one thing. His first 47 innings, he's got a 1.73 ERA. That is the lowest mark through a starter's first 47 innings of his career in 50 years. The guy is a real deal. I'll get to him later.
Did you see who it was before that?
No, I did not.
It was
somebody.
David Swebb.
David Swebb. That's funny. That rhymes with Logan Webb.
No way.
Logan Webb is my number 4 pitcher. I like Logan Webb a lot because he's not a guy. Now, it's almost the polar opposite for me for Max Fried. He's not a guy that I think is ever going to win a Cy Young. I don't think he's a guy that's really going to ever be the best pitcher in baseball. But to me, he kind of is the most consistent.
We're building a rotation here.
We're building a rotation.
You need 5 Cy Young winners.
You don't need 5 Cy Young winners. I mean, this would be a damn good rotation.
It would be a great rotation.
Logan Webb, to me, is the most consistent good pitcher in baseball. I wouldn't say he's a top 5 pitcher in the league right now. I probably wouldn't say he's top 10, but he's just so consistent. He's so young. He's shown he can do it. He is kind of having a down year, honestly. His ERA is in the 4s on the road. He's still, even in a kind of down year, he's probably going to make an all-star team. He's top 15 in Ks. He's thrown the most innings in the league. His K to walk rate is 6th in the league. His overall walk rate is 6th in the league. He's got the best ground ball to fly ball ratio in the league. He just is a good pitcher. He's not going to overpower you. He doesn't really walk people. People don't give up. He doesn't give up a lot of hard contact or home runs. Keeps the ball on the ground. He's just as reliable as anyone. He's under team control till 2029. He's on a 5-year, $90 million contract, but that's not an overpay. That's an underpay for Logan Webb on that deal. I mean, he is just a great pitcher, and I'm happily giving him the ball in any playoff game.
Oh yeah, no, I have the
for the next 5 years.
And just talk about intangibles
26 years
for
old.
a second. You mentioned handing him the ball. He's an intense guy. He's a competitor. He's a fighter. I love Logan Webb. I faded him from my list for no particular reason aside from the fact that I just thought the ceiling on the guys that I have ahead of him are higher. But I really do like Logan Webb. I think that he is probably going to find himself in, at the very least, top 10 Cy Young conversation for the next several years. Like you said, 26 years old, he's young. But no, Logan Webb is a great pitcher. I like that pick a lot.
Thank you. We agree. That's
agree.
crazy.
I know.
All right, who do you got number 3?
Okay, my number 3 is Mr. Shane McClanahan. Shane McClanahan, and I mean, he's pitching just as well in the first half this year as he was in the first half last year. And my only real concern with him is stamina, because he just kind of fell off in the second half last year. He was the favorite for the AL Cy Young, and he fell to 6th after starting the All-Star game. Ended up with under 200 strikeouts, which he was on pace for more than that. But you can't deny the way that he's pitched so far this year is just insane. I mean, 100 strikeouts in 93 innings, league leading 2.23 ERA, 11-1. Not that record really matters, but he's leading this great Rays team this season. Straight up to walk ratio is pretty solid. He's just, he's filthy. He misses bats, and if for some strange reason in some parallel universe where the playoffs happen at the beginning of the season rather than the end of the season, the one guy I would want to hand the ball to is Shane McClanahan, because he's absolutely elite in the first half. I'm hoping that over the course of his career, even this season, he builds up the ability to work deeper into the season with any sort of dominance that he achieves in the first half, because if he did, it would be something special for sure.
I like that pick. You want to guess my number 3?
Is it Shane McClanahan?
It's Shane McClanahan. Look at this.
Agreement.
Great minds think alike. I actually, all the things you said. I mean, I honestly had him higher when I originally did this list. I had him. I forget if it was 1 or 2.
Did you drop him to 3 for the same reasons that I did?
And I dropped him to 3 for the same reasons you did. That's the one concern with him. He strikes me as a guy who I don't know if his body is going to last. Just kind of, he's tall, the lefty throws kind of a sharp arm angle. He's, like you said, he's kind of tailed off in the second half of years. He's just got he's kind of funky, the way he throws the ball. We saw the injury at the end of last year. We've seen even this year kind of left games a little bit early. That's the only thing that concerns me a little bit. But when he's throwing the ball, I mean, he's got the best ERA in the league right now, 6th best opponent average in the league. I mean, he's as good of a pitcher, like you said. If opening day, if I got to bet on some guy to have the best start in the league, I'm betting on Shane McClanahan.
Absolutely, yeah.
Another reason I did drop, I think I originally had him 1. Another reason I did drop him a little bit is he might be a guy that's benefited from being in such a smart organization. You take him out and now you just put him on a random expansion team and he doesn't get that same access to coaching and all this data.
This random expansion team being our very hypothetical.
Yeah, but we're not as smart as the Rays. I mean, we're doing a podcast with 20 people.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
No.
Shane McClanahan, unanimous number 3 selection.
Unanimous.
All right, I can go number 2 because you already said my guy.
Okay.
Yuri Perez.
So why'd you put him as high as 2?
Yuri Perez is, the things I'm gonna go off on Yuri Perez right now because I love this man.
Do it quickly.
I'll go off on him quickly. There is no better prospect. I've never seen a better pitcher at 20 years old in my life. And I'm quite young, but I've never seen a better pitcher than 20-year-old. The way he mixes his pitches, his control, even his frame, 6'8", but he's not. Normally, you'd see a 6'8" guy and you'd be a little concerned. It's like basketball when you think about Victor Wembanyama and he's 7'5". You're like, oh, he's susceptible to breaking down.
He's somebody who I would not want on the mound for me is Victor Wembanyama.
I saw his first pitch. I wouldn't either. He's probably bottom 5 starting
I
to
would
pitch a
say,
team with.
yeah.
But Yuri Perez, I mean, he's 6'8", but he moves. He's so fluid. Everything about him is so fluid. He puts. I mean, his spin rates are insane. He generates whiffs. He's a little susceptible to things. That's another reason I'm high on him. Is he's a little susceptible to the things
I gotta cherish this water. I'm like glugging it right now.
Glug away. He's a little susceptible to the things young pitchers are usually susceptible on. Like he walks a little bit, he can go some hard hit rate, but like that's stuff that as the longer you go,
the longer you go,
he's 20 years old. He's gonna figure it out. He's 6'8", lowest ERA, first 47 innings in 50 years. I mean, he's an unbelievable. He is as good of a pitching prospect as we've ever seen.
Is there a Cy Young in his future?
There's multiple Cy Youngs.
Multiple Cy Youngs.
There's multiple. I think. I also like the way the Marlins are handling him. I think they're gonna Strasburg him a little bit, even though they're having a great year. I don't think he's gonna. They'll probably shut him down at some point, and they'll probably be careful with him.
If they're in the playoff mix, if they're in the hunt,
I still think they're gonna shut him down. He is. There's a reason they're gonna Strasburg him. He's the best pitcher prospect since Steven Strasburg.
High praise.
It's high praise, but I believe it, and I love Yuri Perez, and he's number 2. He's ahead of guys like Shane McClanahan, Logan Webb, that are bona fide studs already that have proved it. That's how high I am.
Do you think there's any chance? Do you think he's going to be an all-star
this year? I mean, yeah, his ERA is under 2.
Do you think he's going to be in the mix for Cy Young?
I think they're going to shut him down at maybe 150 innings. I don't think they're going to risk it, even though because the Marlins are having a good year, but they've got this young core. I don't think. If you are going to shut him down, they're not going to win a World Series this year, even with him. So, especially if Sandy doesn't figure it out. But I mean, I just love this guy. I love this guy. I think of stuff in basketball terms a lot, and it's like you don't see 6'8" guys. Like in basketball, you don't see a 7'5" guy like Wembanyama. That's his comp. Yuri Perez's comp is Victor Wembanyama. Write that down. Clip it. That's good for the Instagram. There we go.
Okay.
Number 2.
I could see it. I see the comp. I mean, I wouldn't say he's like as hyped pre-draft or pre-signing as Victor Wembanyama.
Well, baseball, the sports work in 2 different ways.
It's true. I mean, no, he's an unreal talent. I mean, I said my piece on him already. My only reservation is just I have not seen enough at the major league level. We don't know how he's going to hold up. I mean, I think they could shut him down in 150 innings, but who knows? He could crash and burn before then. I sure hope not. I'm not hoping for that in any capacity whatsoever.
The guy didn't even pitch an inning in AAA. It's absurd what he's doing right now. It's absurd. So I get it. You almost don't believe it.
Right. That's the thing with me is like when it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Yeah.
And
he says that a lot.
He
loves that expression.
That's one of my favorite adages. We were talking a lot about adages recently. Yes, big adage guy.
Should we do top 5 adages?
Eventually, sure. Yeah,
okay.
Let's go top 5 adages next time.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
So no, with Perez, I mean, it's just and the reason that I think it's probably going to be sustained success is many of the reasons I know already said. However, I do think that if you saw an offensive player come up and just completely obliterate opposing pitching, that's one thing, but that happens a lot more often than you see pitchers come up and just completely dominate.
And it wasn't like
that he has.
It wasn't like I think sometimes you see guys like I'm thinking of the Dodgers a lot, like Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager. They come up and they just hit home runs right away. They don't miss. They don't strike out. Then over time they strike out a little more. Yuri Perez struggled his first few starts. It's almost like he's making those tinks. Or he's figuring stuff out, making those things. He's tinkering with stuff. That's the word I was looking for.
I like that more. He's making the tinks.
He's making the tinks. He's tinking. He's tinking good.
He's tinking good.
He's tinking good. We've said it out.
Again.
He's tinking good.
Okay, my number 2 is in fact Spencer Strider.
Oh, I thought he was okay. I'm curious who your number 1 is.
Okay,
but we'll get there. But yeah,
my number 1 is somebody who I've been very high on for a while, so it won't come as that much of a surprise. But I mean, Spencer Strider. We're talking about strikeouts. There's not a better strikeout pitcher in the game right now than Spencer Strider. And this is our top 5 starting pitchers. But if I was making my top 5 just like beefy thighs, number one.
I could stare at his thighs all day. He's number 1 on top 5 best thighs. What?
That's getting clipped.
I don't care. I'll say it again. I could stare at his thighs all day. I could stare at his thighs all. I'll look right in the camera and I'll say, I could stare at Spencer Strider's thighs all day. There. Continue.
I don't know how I would continue after that, but no, I mean the guy's a freak in nature, and talk about intensity. I mean he's Logan Webb if Logan Webb ate the Tasmanian devil. The guy's an animal. He's completely fearless on the mound, and another guy who's had a few ups and downs this season. I have no concerns. He's still striking guys out left and right. Leads the league in strikeouts. Leads the league in strikeouts per 9. His 3.73 ERA so far this season, I do not think is indicative of how talented he actually is. His FIP, his fielding independent pitching, is down to at a 3.11. I can only imagine that's going to go down as the season proceeds.
BABIP, high BABIP, so it'll come down probably.
Yeah, I mean, pitching is so up to luck a lot of the time. And he's allowed 13 home runs this year, which is higher than his entire total from last season already.
That's his one tink.
It's his one thing that he needs to think about with.
He needs to think about it.
He needs to think about it. But if he can control the strikeouts, or not control the strikeouts, if he can control the home runs, he does control the strikeouts very well. If he can control the home runs, then I think we have like a bona fide Cy Young candidate.
I couldn't agree more, and that's why he's my number one.
He's my number one.
He's my number one best pitcher in the league. There is no pitcher.
Say a few words.
There is no pitcher.
More with Yuri Perez.
he under team control till 2029. The nature of baseball as a pitcher is you want to throw it past the guy and you want them to swing and miss. He does it better than anybody in the league. It's not even close. I'll end on this. His Ks per 9 is 14.33. Can you guess the number? Not who is second, but what the number is for second?
I'm gonna go 11.2.
It's 11.9. It's a full
pretty close.
2 strikeouts lower Shohei Ohtani. He's better than anybody in the league. I don't even think it's close. Who's your number one?
Just at striking guys out?
Just pitcher-wise. I just would take him number one.
If we were just drafting pitchers, period, you would take
I would take him number one if I was just doing a season.
Okay.
He's number one. And the reason I put Fried above him for like a World Series Game 7 is just the home runs scare me in the 1-game sample size. It's almost like the 3-pointer in basketball, but it's kind of the great equalizer. That's the one thing he doesn't do well. Everything else, it's a perfect pitcher. He's a perfect pitcher.
You want to know who I think is a perfect pitcher? And
I think, but let me know.
I think a perfect pitcher, and who I would take for one season over anybody else in the league, is none other than Mr. Zachary Gallen, a former Miami Marlin. I imagine that rotation with Gallen and Perez
and Sandy.
How
three
do you
separate
even
Cy Young winners.
Right,
So
ridiculous. Zach Gallen is, I stand by it, the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's the front runner for NL Cy Young, and he's not even pitching as well as he can. He was quoted at the beginning of the year saying he doesn't even feel right. He hasn't even felt right all year. There's something that's been bothering him. I don't know what it is. I think I heard shoulder. I could be just
That's what you
out
want
of my
when
butt.
you start an expansion draft. Someone with shoulder issues.
Not my point. My point is he's one of the best pitchers in the league, and he's not even playing at the top of his game. He's got 108 strikeouts in 104 innings. He struck out 192, but he struck out 192 in 184 innings last year. He's and at the top of his game, he's a 200-plus strikeout pitcher, and he's got the best FIP in the league. He's got a 2.73, and he's not even feeling right. I'm blown away by Zach Gallen. His 4-pitch mix is just insane. He has control, he has precision, he has strikeout stuff, he keeps the ball on the ground. I mean, what more could you possibly ask for in a pitcher than Zach Gallen? He's the complete package. I can't think of anybody who I would want ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, I love Zach Gallen. I didn't have him on the list. I think I actually had him 6th. I do disagree with him being number 1 on your list. I don't think he has the upside of a Perez or a Strider, even
What
McClanahan.
more upside do you need?
Well, the strikeouts aren't
dominating.
great. The strikeouts aren't great. This was your rebuttal to Max Fried.
No, I said 4-pitch mix, 5-pitch mix.
Yeah, I mean, he's great, and you want to know why I do love Zach Gallen? He's Jewish and he's from New Jersey. So I love Zach Gallen for those two reasons alone. I'm Jewish and from New Jersey, and we're both equally good at pitching. I mean, yeah, he's a great pitcher. He's a great pitcher. He doesn't want
I
guys.
said 4-pitch mix. I was right. It is a 4-pitch mix. He's throwing 9 sinkers.
Make up your mind.
He's a 4-pitch mix. I'm not counting the sinker.
I don't think. I'll end on this. I love Zach Gallen. I just don't think he even really comes close to having the upside of my top 3.
But
Strider,
my
Perez,
question is, what more upside do you need?
I want the strikeouts to go up. I mean, he's 5 strikeouts per 9 below Spencer Strider.
So
I want those to go up.
Take what I'm saying, right? Take what he himself has said this season, is that he is not even pitching at 100% of his max ability. Take that, say he's even at 80% right now. You know? He boosts up how he's playing by 20%. How much higher can you want him to go? How much higher can you expect a pitcher to go?
If Zach Gallen can get that Ks per 9 up to about 10.5, 11,
Listen, I love strikeouts.
I think he'll be the best pitcher.
I love strikeouts just as much as the next guy, but strikeouts are fun more than anything else for me.
I think they're very indicative of great pitchers. But I love Zach Gallen. I don't want to trash on Zach Gallen. I love him. Contract is shorter than Perez, than Strider.
That's true. That's true. I didn't mention them in my arguments. He is only signed through 2026. But I would give him an extension ASAP. I'd buy him a chopper if he wanted one.
I love another guy who we also really haven't seen pitch in the postseason. But I feel like I've said that a lot. I don't love that argument because Strider, I mean, postseason is small sample size. He doesn't give up a ton of home runs or hard contact. Zach Gallen's just a great pitcher. He's a great pitcher. I'd probably have him 6th or 7th, but it's so hard when the best pitchers in the league are so good. All right, let's move on.
Okay,
Those are our pitching lists. Curious to see what you guys think.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Cursed franchises. Define cursed franchise for us.
Tortured, cursed. Wouldn't want to be a fan.
Wouldn't want to be a fan. Would be upset if on draft day I heard my name called by this team.
Yeah.
More so than other teams.
Just at the end of the day, I would say it like this. At the end of the day, it's the playoffs. You're in a close game, and you just don't have faith that the lucky moments are going to land on your side.
If you even get to the playoffs in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. There are definitely some teams I have.
I took that into heavy consideration in mind. Just these teams who, every year or every several years, you're like, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make a run this year, and then they just don't. They fall flat on their faces. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting the team right there. Case in point, perfect example, number 5, the Los Angeles Angels. And they could squeeze in this year, but something tells me that it's going to be like September 10th, and then they're going to go on a 12-game losing streak.
I think that's going to happen too.
Yeah, and
they're going to finish 81-81 somehow.
Somehow
they'll find a way.
Somehow, and just I put them in the cursed franchise list. They made the top 5 for me because solely like for that fact, but more than any other fact. They have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and they are going to lose Shohei Ohtani at the end of this season almost definitely, and then that is it. There's no coming back from that. How can you come back from that? There's nothing that you can do to reclaim your franchise for decades after losing Shohei Ohtani and never making the playoffs with Mike Trout except for one wild card game.
The Angels are a disgrace. They're a disgrace. I don't know if I would
was
necessarily...
it a wild card game or ALCS that Trout played in?
No, wild card. It was the first divisional series versus the Royals.
Oh, yeah, the divisional.
He did not get a hit, if I'm correct. And they got swept, and they were the number 1 seed.
Right, it was essentially a wild card.
The Angels need pitching. I don't see them as a cursed franchise. They are a cursed franchise.
I also took ownership into account when making this.
Yes,
because
okay.
Marty Moreno is a bad.
That's what I was going to say. They're not necessarily cursed to me. They have bad ownership, and they have bad pitching development. And they are a little cursed. I don't have them on my list, but I'm fine with that 5th ranking. My number 5 team, we're staying in the AL West, the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners, to me, they just a constant disappointment. We can start in 2001. We can start with the greatest regular season record of all time, losing in the first round, and then just never doing anything again with Ken Griffey Jr., with Ichiro, with just a stacked team. And then the Mariners, they just let you down when you know it's coming. That's what makes it worse. Then you have the huge postseason drought. You have this incredible moment last year. They hit a walk-off home run. They end the longest postseason drought. They're in the playoffs. Game 1 versus the Astros. They have all this momentum. It's a great game. And then bang, give up a walk-off home run to Yordan Alvarez and just fall flat on your face. See, and then this year they should be so much better. They have a great run differential and they're 500. I think they're under 500. They strike me as a team. I just don't think it's going to work out for them ever. Their core of Julio, something's going to go wrong. The thing about Seattle is just if you just took a look at the roster on paper, the pitching staff is unbelievable. Luis Castillo and George Kirby, I both had honorable mention for that last list. And you got Bryce Miller, young stud. Brian Wu, young stud. You got Logan Gilbert.
You know, a lot of those guys are new and they got time to.
They got time, but that's what I mean. I just don't think they're going to figure it out.
Time is the least of the Mariners' worries.
The Mariners have had time.
I'll go ahead and spoil it and say that they made my list at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you my number 4 was the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, okay.
Solely for the fact that they possess the longest World Series drought in Major League Baseball ever since they lost to the Cubs in 2016. And I think, I'm not like a really higher power type of guy, but I think when the Cubs beat them in the World Series, they come back winning Game 7, best baseball game I've ever seen.
Agree.
I think they passed the curse onto the Cleveland Guardians.
I agree.
Solely because of that, I have them here. I mean, every year they're competitive, right? Even this year they're competitive in their own division, but they just never get it done. They never make a deep enough run to, since 2016 at least, to really make you think they've accomplished all these other feats. So they won like 23 games in a row a few years ago. They
lost them first round.
Yeah. It's just they're cursed. They have the curse. It's the curse of the Billy Goat, and here they are.
I won't spoil my list, but I agree. My number 14, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates have been bad.
I had them and took them off.
Okay, all right. Pittsburgh Pirates have been bad. They have been so bad for so long. We're going to have the
same top 2. I guarantee you.
No, we're not.
We're not? Did you see my list?
No, but I won't say how I know we won't, but we won't. Pittsburgh Pirates have no business still being this bad. After being so bad and picking so high in so many drafts, they don't even really have the prospects to get excited about. I know they got Henry Davis, but I'm not even that excited about him.
Is anybody excited about Henry Davis?
No, nobody's excited.
I mean, Henry Davis's mom is probably very excited.
I don't even think Henry Davis's dad is excited. Just his mom.
Just his mom?
Just his mom. She's the only one. Miss Davis, your son is going to lose forever if he's on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's never going to make an All-Star team. Sorry, Henry Davis. The Pittsburgh Pirates suck. They have bad ownership. They haven't won a World Series in 43 years. Their fans have seen no success at all.
Their City Connect jerseys are fugly.
They live in Pittsburgh, and they're my number 14.
Okay.
We know your number 13. Seattle.
My number 13
you want to add anything to them?
I mean, I think you summed it up. They have the talent. I mentioned in my Sour Rankings video the other day that I predicted them to have a top 4 lineup this year. There's nothing that's really tangibly going that wrong aside from the fact that they can't beat good teams.
Because they're not a good team
themselves. They're just not a good team.
They're not a great team.
They're not a great team. They're a fine team. But is fine going to win you a World Series? No. That's why the Phillies lost last year.
2019 Washington Nationals.
That is not true. They were a great team.
And they were very talented. They were only a great team in October.
We can debate the Nationals a different day.
Yes, I agree. All right. I like that Seattle pick considering I had them on my list. My number 13. I don't think you're going to have this team. I haven't seen your list. The Milwaukee Brewers.
I don't have the Brewers.
The Milwaukee Brewers have never won a World Series. They've gotten damn close. A big thing for me in this list is kind of that getting close and then losing and then having that memory just in your head. The Milwaukee Brewers, 2018 NLCS. I don't think they're sniffing or 2019. I don't think they're sniffing an NLCS anytime soon. I mean, they're just stuck in that perpetual. They haven't won a World Series. Their ownership is not. They're almost like a minor league team in the sense that they build these guys. They have all this stuff with Corbin Burns and ownership. Doesn't look like he's going to be a Brewer for a long time from that stuff in spring training. And they build these guys up like David Stearns.
Yeah,
David Stearns is a great executive, and he's good. So now what's he going to do? Someone's going to give him more money, and he's going to leave, and they're going to suck. They can develop pitching, but for as long as they can't develop hitting, they're a small market team.
Right, they're essentially a development team for other bigger dogs.
They had that 1 year of Yelich, and then he fell off. It looked like they were building something. They had Yelich, they had all these arms, and bam, fell flat on their face. They're my number 3 team.
We're going to say we've said that expression a lot today.
We have. It's fun. Tink. Who's your number 2 team?
A number 2 team for me is a team that really needs to tink quite a bit. Is the San Diego Padres. The Padres, to me, I don't see how they can't be on your list. I don't see how they couldn't be on your list. I'm guessing they are.
The Padres won the World Series last year. You forget. They beat the Dodgers in the playoffs. That is the World Series for the San Diego Padres and their fans who came out of the woodwork, out of nowhere.
Great, but it's not.
In that NLCS.
But it's
I'm joking.
not.
I'm being sarcastic. I hate the San Diego Padres, and they did win the World Series last year.
What more says curse, aside from having 4 of the best players in the league and still sucking absolute cheeks?
You want to know what the problem is? It doesn't seem like they like each other.
It doesn't
And it
seem like
doesn't
they
seem
like
they
each other.
like
They're
Fernando
not having that
Tatis
much
Jr..
fun. I mean, can you blame them for not liking Nando? First of all, he's better than all of them. Second of all, everybody else hates him.
And he's selfish.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I think that he's going to be a bad clubhouse guy. I think we're going to probably see a narrative arc with Fernando Tatis Jr. over the course of his career, similar to what we've seen with like Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, another Padre. That they start off young, arrogant, not. You don't think they've got a great head on their shoulders and they're going to mature? I'm hoping that's what happens with Nando, right? No more motorcycle accidents, no more steroid, hemorrhoid cream bullshit or whatever. But the Padres to me are cursed. Like, think back to, what year was that, 2014? When they signed Matt Kemp and they traded for James Shields.
What a
No, they traded James Shields. Whatever.
They spent a lot of money on
a lot of money.
players.
Matt Latos, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It was this ridiculous offseason on like all these old players who were only in the league or even somewhat relevant for another 2 seasons. And everybody was like, oh, this is it. The Padres are spending money. They're going to be good. Every time the Padres go and make a big splash in free agency, it just does not work out. They're not a good team. They can never put it together, no matter who they have. It could be the 5 most charismatic people on the face of the earth who also happen to be all-star level baseball players. They're never going to have that team chemistry to do what needs to be done to actually make a run, put together a good, successful baseball team. Until I see it happen, they're the number 2 cursed franchise for me.
That's fair. I still think their fans are happy right now because they beat the Dodgers last night. That's all they care about.
They sell out every home game. I gotta hand it to the
and they're
Padres
excited. They're
fans.
still exciting to watch. My number 2 team, meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. I don't know another lyric of the song. The New York Mets. They're a disgrace. They're a disgrace. I stood here.
I have a few things to say, so don't go off too hard.
Okay. I sat here during the first podcast, and I told you the New York Mets suck. They suck. And I was right. They suck. The thing is, they were cursed. They had Luis Castillo. They were the little brother. They got swept in the Subway Series. Matt Harvey fell off. Noah Syndergaard fell off. They were cursed for so long. And then, whoa, it's Steve Cohen. We have good ownership. It's all going to change. But Steve Cohen, we forget, he may be rich. He's not very smart when it comes to baseball. The Mets thought they could buy a World Series. They thought they were the Dodgers. The thing about the Dodgers is the Dodgers are good at spending money like the Yankees, and they're good at developing talent like the Rays. Sure, the Mets can spend money like the Yankees now, but they can't develop shit. Their fan base is toxic, and they're cursed. They are cursed. They sold their soul for the Bill Buckner play. They're my number 2 team.
I couldn't agree with you more. The Mets are my number 1 team. I've grown up around Mets fans being from New York. If I didn't hate them, I would pity them. The Mets fans, that is. I have no animosity against the Mets because that would just be simply cruel. How can you hate a team that's as cursed as this one, that's as sad?
I can.
Well, you are a terrible human being. We established that early on in this episode.
Thanks.
I mean, no, what more can be said? I mean, they have a team full of talented players pretty consistently. I mean, the thing with the Mets is you either know they're going to suck and they suck, or you think they're not going to suck and they suck. There's nothing else. They had that one, they had 2015 against the Royals, and a team is cursed. A team is cursed when the fan base still holds a grudge against the team that beat them in the World Series 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Every Mets fan I know still says, fuck the Kansas City Royals.
And the
None
Kansas
of
City
those
Royals
players
are
even
pathetic.
play in the major leagues anymore.
Lucas Duda. And they lost World Series like that. With Matt Harvey just begging to go out in the 9th inning, Lucas Duda making that throw. Poor Mets. You know what? I changed my mind. I just feel bad for them now. You've convinced me.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have it in my heart to hate the Mets.
Might be the only team in the league giving the Padres a run for worst culture.
The thing is, I don't even think it's culture. I just think it's bad luck. I just think it's the Mets. They're the only team in the league where you can summarize everything about the entire franchise just by saying they're the Mets.
That's fair. Nothing more needs to be said. My number one team, I'll be short. I can't believe you didn't have you had this team fourth. I have Cleveland. Cleveland hits every box in this thing. They, first of all, had the longest World Series drought in the MLB, 74 years. They last won in 1948. The second thing is they probably came as close as any team besides maybe the 2017 Dodgers and the 2001 Yankees have to actually winning the World Series without winning it in 2016. That would haunt me forever if I was a fan. And they lost to the Cubs. Imagine losing to the Cubs in Game 7 of the World Series in extra innings like that with a rain delay, with that Jason Kipnis foul ball. They're cursed. They're cursed, and they don't even have anything to look forward to because they're too cheap to be a World Series contender anytime soon, and they let these great talents rot away until they're not so great anymore. Sorry, Emmanuel Clase. Sorry, Jose Ramirez. James Karinchak Sorry, Shane Bieber. James Karinchak has lost his ability to pitch. They've ruined their chance. They're never going to win a World Series, and I just feel bad for them. I don't even want to keep going. I'm sorry, Cleveland, but you're number one, and they're Cleveland. And drop the mic.
Well, should we let that lead us into...
Cleveland is in Ohio.
Ohio.
You paused a little bit there. It's in the state of Ohio.
I didn't know what you were going for.
States.
States. Well, this okay.
States.
This is gonna. Let's just start. We're doing this draft style. We're gonna go back and forth. Top 5 states just to live in. So the way we thought about this was that. So we choose a state based on if we were to be assigned a random city, town, whatever, district in that state to live in, our top 5 states for inhabitory purposes. I don't think that's a word.
They know what it means.
They know what that means.
They should know what it means.
Everybody should know what that means.
If you don't, it's on you.
It's completely on you. Okay, so let's start.
Who's getting the number one pick?
Let's
I'm flipping this thing. Wherever the cap...
What is this? You're moving the microphone.
Sorry.
Okay.
Wherever the cap lands, it's you. You get the number one pick.
My number one pick?
Anthony Bennett.
Yeah. My number one pick, I'm so glad that you mentioned Cleveland, because my number one pick is the great state of Ohio. I'm not joking. I love Ohio.
I'm so I just want to hear your case. I'm going to try not to say anything because I can't even see the rationale.
Ohio, low cost of living. Ohio, high standard of living. Ohio, 3 great cities that all start with the letter C. Find a better letter in the alphabet than the letter C. Find a better letter. I'll wait. Cleveland, beautiful city. Cleveland's a beautiful city. It's been revitalized. I was there in 2015. I was like, okay, it's Cleveland. I was there in 2019. Let me tell you, they had some big events. They had the All-Star Game. They had some political conventions. Money came into the city of Cleveland. They cleaned things up. It's nice. It's beautiful. It has all 4 seasons. It has a lake. It has sports teams. It has everything that you could possibly want. It's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you not like rock and roll?
Okay.
My rebuttal. It has lakes.
Can I rebuke?
You can live. You can have a life in Ohio, a beautiful life in a beautiful suburb
Everything you described,
rural, anything that you could possibly want is in Ohio.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay, tell me how much it costs to live in New Jersey, and Ohio doesn't smell bad.
Okay. Can I rebuke my rebuttal? Can I give you the case against Ohio?
Give me the case against. It's not going to be valid. I'm not going to like it.
Ohio.
It's stupid.
Ohio.
That's not a rebuttal.
That's the rebuttal.
That's not a rebuttal.
No, that's all I can say.
We've established the only thing that you can say that for is the Mets.
Ohio. It's Cleveland. It smells. It's dirty. It's in the middle of nowhere.
People are not going to like hearing that.
It smells. It's dirty. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's not exciting. I get bored.
It's not dirty.
I feel like
it's not in the middle of nowhere.
like it's always gloomy. You're in the Midwest.
It's
I'm
not,
sorry. I don't like the
Midwest.
Midwest.
It was sunny time. It was sunny time all the time.
That's better than tape. Sunny. It's sunny time.
Sunny time all the time.
It's sunny time. Okay. I hate Ohio. It would probably be.
How much time have you spent in Ohio?
None. I don't want to. No, I have spent time in Ohio. I was in Columbus.
I don't think it's fair to even put a state on this list that you haven't been to.
I have been to Ohio. I have been to Ohio toward Denison College, and then I went to Columbus.
Columbus is a great city too.
I didn't like it at all. There's just nothing to do there. There's nothing exciting. It has no culture.
First of all, I disagree. I won't argue with the fact that there is a stigma against Ohio. However, I like destigmatizing things that carry a stigma. Men's mental health. Ohio. That's great things that you can destigmatize.
2 very different topics. But I I don't like Ohio. Let's move on. I can't believe they were your number one pick.
They're my number one pick.
I thought he was joking for about 20 seconds. I was like, he's serious. Wow, that's insane.
I like Ohio. If you're from Ohio, I really hope that I've scored some brownie points because you
We'll see
live
what
in
the
a
people
great
think.
state.
My number one
Excellent
state, my number one pick, Hawaii. Hawaii, it's beautiful. Sure, it's expensive. It's beautiful. If I had a problem in Hawaii, you know what I would do? I'd go to the beach and I'd lie down and I'd look at the blue water and I'd eat some poke and I'd forget about it.
Okay, but tell me what happens when you're lying on the beach and you're looking at that water and you're like, God damn, I have no money because living here is so fucking expensive. Tell me that.
I'd
what are you
rather
gonna be doing
be-
for a living?
I'd rather
That's going to
be-
give you the ability to afford to live in Hawaii.
I'd
Tell me
rather
that.
be broke in Hawaii than rich in Cleveland or Ohio. That's my number one pick. Can we snake draft it?
No, that's not how this works.
Why not? You get 1 and 3 and 5 and 7 and 9. I can't go back to back.
No, we go back and forth.
That's crazy. I'm still gonna win, even with your advantages. Give me number 2.
Okay, number 2 is the state of Washington. Washington State. I love Washington State. Washington State is a beautiful state. It's big, it's expansive, and it has many different types of terrain. It has beaches, it has forest, it has mountains, it has city. What more could you want? I will give you it's a little bit expensive, but it has great education overall.
Rainy.
Rainy, okay, but when you're doing so many fun things all the time, like hiking and biking.
Why live in Washington? I like Washington. Why live in Washington when you could live in Vermont? That's my number 2 pick.
Because Vermont is too
Vermont is-
stuck up. Vermont and New Hampshire are so bougie for no reason. I don't like those states.
A fall in Vermont.
New England? Just think about how New England sounds. That's the most pretentious
I like New
sounding.
England.
That's the most pretentious sounding region of the country that it could possibly exist. New
Vermont
England.
is beautiful. You got trees, you got lakes, you
Oh,
got water.
trees! Oh, I can't find those in any other state.
Or that was your case was nature for Washington. Nature is beautiful. It's cheap. You have cities. You have Burlington. What a beautiful city. You're close to Canada. You're close to you're on the East
You're
Coast.
close
first
to
of-
Canada.
First of all,
Want to
you're
know
on the
what
East
else
Coast
is
of-
close to Canada? Oh, Washington. It is right there.
Yeah,
You're
we're close to
Canada.
Vancouver. I'd rather be closer to Toronto than Vancouver.
Vermont
is a beautiful state, And it's cheap, and it's my number 2 pick.
I don't like your list.
Okay, go.
I don't like your list at all.
Go.
My number 3 state, we're going back to the Midwest, baby. Michigan.
Absurd.
Absurd.
All right, we clearly have differences in philosophy.
What's cooler than having your state split into 2 parts?
A lot.
You have a whole upper peninsula. Tell me one other state that has an upper peninsula. It's like you have the whole glove, and that's... Oh, no, that's Wisconsin. I don't even know what shape it is. Whatever. You have the whole bottom part. You got Grand Rapids. You got Kalamazoo, where Derek Jeter's from. Derek Jeter's from Michigan.
I hate
You have some
Derek
awesome...
Jeter.
You have a cherry festival. I've been to a cherry festival. I forget where in Michigan that was. And so you have all these amazing things that Michigan has to offer. Although it's the epitome of the Midwest. It's the epitome of the Midwest, the beautiful Midwest. And you have an Upper Peninsula. That just sounds so cool. I love the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's a fun place where you can do lots of activities. Talk about nature. It's the ends of the earth up there. I love it. That's my number 2 pick. No, 3 pick, Michigan. Michigan is my number 3.
Your number 3 is Michigan. I could not disagree with you more. I'm going to generate a random city in Michigan right now, and it's probably going to just be a place you wouldn't want to live. Would you want to live in Marshall, Michigan?
That sounds lovely.
Look up a picture. This is bad audio for people, but
This
go to
is-
images.
I guarantee you. Oh,
The
look
first
at that.
picture is a magic box.
Look
That's
at that. The Honolulu House Museum.
A museum of my number 1 state. It couldn't have worked out better. It could not have worked out better.
Look at this charming downtown in the wintertime.
That's the whole town. They got all of Marshall,
It's
Michigan.
quaint. I'm not picking. Oh, this is beautiful. Look, there's a barber shop. There's a
Wow,
store
a
that
barber
says
shop.
camp.
Where could you find one
And
of those?
serendipity and brew. I'm gonna need
A
to get
coffee.
a haircut.
A
I'm gonna
coffee,
need to get my
wow.
haircut eventually.
Wow. You could
Go
get
on. Go on. Keep hating on the Midwest. I couldn't have said one Midwest state that you wouldn't disagree with.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
I agree. I
the
don't
stigma
have it.
against the Midwest.
No, because I lived in the Midwest for a little bit, and it's awful.
You lived there for like 2 months before you decided
6
to
months.
transfer schools.
6 months. Longer than that. My number 3 pick is the state of New Jersey.
Get the
state
fuck
of
outta
New
here.
Jersey is beautiful.
Your
Please.
entire list is invalidated by saying New Jersey. New Jersey. That's the Mets. That's the only state that you can say. That's the only state that you can say.
Cleveland, Ohio.
It's New Jersey. It's New York, but New York's armpit. It smells. It has I-95. There's nothing exciting there. What does New Jersey have to offer? It's expensive. What could you? I don't think you can say one good thing about New Jersey that you couldn't get better in another state and for half the price, and without having the disgusting odors of dumps and landfills and car exhaust and factories filling up your nostrils.
I finished. The best pizza in the country, the best bagels in the country.
Get them in New York. Get them in New York.
I thought they're gonna price. They're gonna be double the price in New York, and they're better.
Double the price
Yes,
in
they
New
are.
York.
Yes,
You're
they
telling
are.
me you walk to a hole-in-the-wall place joint in New York City?
We're in Washington
anything
D.C. right now. It's
Manhattan?
$11.50 for a bacon, egg, and cheese in Washington D.C. That's half as good as a $5 bacon, egg, and cheese in New Jersey.
You can get a $5 bacon, egg, and cheese in New York City.
You have the beach. You have
The
great
beach.
food.
The beach. I don't want to
You're
go to a
close
beach in
to the
New
best city in the
Jersey.
world.
You picked Hawaii as your number one. What are you considering beaches in your other states for?
Because I love the beach. What do you mean? I love the beach. I love nature. It's New Jersey. Ugh, that pissed me off. There's a stigma against New Jersey because
Yeah,
of
the
the
stigma
Jersey
against
Shore.
New Jersey
The
is
Jersey
an
Shore
appropriate
is
stigma.
propaganda. It's anti-New Jersey propaganda. I love New Jersey. The food is incredible. It's a great mix of people. The Sopranos.
The Sopranos.
Case in point. New Jersey, number 3. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is the only state that I was willing to compromise on price, on cost of living for, and that's California. I like California. California is a fun state. There's lots of fun things to do. Talk about nature. You have the mountains up north. You got the beach down south. You got a fun city in LA. You got a fun city in San Francisco. I've never been, actually I stayed in San Diego when I was like 3 years old, so I don't really remember it. I want to visit Sacramento. I don't really know why, but I do. I just think California is a cool place.
Sacramento sucks.
Cali living,
But I agree on everything
for Cali living, just even for like a year, I think would be a fun time.
I was going to pick California, so I don't disagree with you. My number 4 pick, this is another place I'm willing to spend money to live in. Colorado. It's beautiful.
I was thinking of getting Colorado.
It's beautiful. There's mountains. You can ski. The nature is amazing. You have cool cities. You have Denver. You have Boulder. You can do whatever you want. It's progressive. You have sports teams. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's endless. I love Colorado. You have Red Rocks. Would love to see a concert
I
there.
would love to see a concert at Red
They're
Rocks,
my number 4th pick.
I can't argue with Colorado. That's
Oh.
the first one you've said that I haven't had a problem with. I like Colorado. Colorado
I'll
seems
have it
cool. It didn't quite make my list because of my number 5. I hope it will allow it. It's not exactly a state. It is a district. It's where we sit right now. The District of
Oh.
Columbia, Washington D.C. I love it here.
We'll allow it.
It's a great place. We want statehood, so I'm gonna put on my list. I like Washington D.C. If you've never been here, please come by, shoot me a DM, whatever. Tell me you're in town. For no purpose other than it's just like such a unique place. No other place in the country can you go where you have just like the things that Washington D.C. has to offer. You have the cherry blossoms; they're beautiful. You have this gorgeous architecture everywhere in the government buildings, the monuments, the memorials, the reflection pool, the whole mall, free museums. I love it here. The neighborhood I live in is in the District of Washington, but it's very suburban, has a very suburban feel. It's walkable, it's safe. You have any activity that you could possibly want. You got sports, you got good entertainment. Every big artist who you would want to see a concert of performs in Washington, D.C. at some point. It is a little bit expensive for sure. I'm feeling that personally right now.
So am I.
However, it's a great place to live. I think you would agree. It's fun. It's great, full of young people. I'm a young person. He's a young person. We are young people, collectively.
I'm younger. I'm sprier. I'm fitter.
I wouldn't say you're fitter.
I'm sprier.
You couldn't even
I
disagree.
haven't been in the gym in 6 months, so who am I to talk? All right.
But yeah, Washington, D.C., my number 5. Technically not a state, but yeah, there we go. That's my list. Ohio, Washington, Michigan, California, D.C.
I live in Washington, D.C. I'm not going to trash it. Very fun place. Like it. Agree with everything you said. Didn't even consider it.
Good public
Gray
transit,
area. Good public transit. Would agree. Good bus system. My number 5 pick is North Carolina. North Carolina
They were
is
my
one of the
6.
most underrated states in the country. First of all, the weather. It's beautiful all year long. You could be outside, you could do outdoor activities all year long. I love that. Nature, very pretty. Fall, beautiful there. You have cool colleges. You know, you can go to the Blue Ridge Parkway. You can just be outside all the time. You can eat good food, and it's this. You get the southern food, but it's not the South, and you get the southern weather, but it's not the South. North Carolina is a very unheralded state. Hawaii, Colorado, Vermont, New Jersey, North Carolina, clearly
You
five.
went out of order.
Hawaii, Vermont, New Jersey, Colorado, North Carolina. Just a stronger list, a stronger group of 5 states.
I don't think it's a stronger group of 5 states.
We'll
I
see.
think mine has everything that you could possibly want from a list of 5 states, or four states and 1 district.
There you go. Enough said. I think all 3 of my lists are better, but we'll see. We'll see what the
We'll
people
leave it up
think.
to you.
We'll see what the people think.
But that's it. We're done. That's everything that we had to talk about. I don't think that I could think of anything else to talk about. That's it. I don't even really watch baseball, so I don't know what's going on in current events. I'm kidding. But we're cutting it off there. That was fun. I had a lot of fun. I think my lists were better, but we're done.
Me
And we'll
thinks
let
my
people
lists
decide.
are better.
He tinks. I am feeling very, what did I say? Sunny side?
Sunny.
Sunny something.
An
I forgot
opinion
that already.
is a fact, essentially. We agreed upon
Yes,
that.
exactly.
That's the show.
That's the show. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever you did. Instagram, @theworstmlb. I don't know, you probably know that already. I don't know where else you'd be coming from. But that's it. We'll be back at some point, hopefully within the next few weeks. Enjoy those games. Hopefully no more perfect games before we come back, and we are done.
Peace.